Under City Comics. My name is Nicolero.
I'm Sean.
I'm Rene.
Hey, and this is the show, everybody.
Yeah, wow.
It's a
Hey.
we added one more person from last.
Long time no see, folks.
We shut that door. I don't know why we left that. But anyway, hey guys, welcome back, Sean. How you feeling,
I'm
buddy?
alive.
Yeah,
Congested.
dude,
Congested. I'm pretty sure you can hear it.
You were dying.
Yeah,
you were
2 weeks out, you were
basically
gone.
dead.
First week was mental,
Yes.
and second week was physical.
Yeah. Once again, Bryan isn't here. Are we allowed to say it? I don't know.
I think we have the okay to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bryan had a kid, man.
Yeah.
He had a
Bryan
baby.
is a
and
dad.
he popped out that bundle of joy.
Yeah,
that
man.
beautiful, beautiful bundle
We
of joy.
what was it? Bryan and Bryan and his wife both had a child, so they are. Bryan is out another week.
Yes.
He wants to return next week. He's gonna see how everything goes with the baby, and it's a new responsibility that he has, and also, you know, he wants to still be here. He loves you guys. He loves us.
Yeah.
He wants to be a part of the show and everything else. So I think we just make him editing, minion for right now, and I think that'd be great. You know? He's just editing. We chain him up to
Keeps it busy.
we chain him up to a desk. He can care for his child.
Yeah.
And he edits.
Yeah.
And then when the baby cries, he cries too.
He's gonna be crying constantly.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited about the show today. We have a really packed show.
Definitely.
I kind of want to get into it because it's already late.
It is. Catching up with Bryan took up some time, but it was nice catching up, getting the whole down low.
Bryan came by the shop to show us pictures and
Showed
tell us,
the baby being birthed.
Yeah,
Yes.
he showed us a video. It was gruesome.
Very violent.
Showed us a lot.
It was magical.
Yeah. But first, let's go ahead and go through where you guys can find us. You can find us at keepingupthenerds.com. Go ahead and find us at all of our social medias, our Instagram, our Facebook, and X.com. You can also find us on all of our audio platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcast, and
Podbean.
Podbean. There it is. I couldn't remind it. Also, if you like what you see, make sure to click the subscribe button, share it with a friend. It helps us in the algorithm. If you also leave a comment, make sure to leave a comment inside of the little bubble at the bottom.
Tell us what you ate today.
Yeah, tell me what you ate today. Tell me about some of the things that we talked about today. Give us some questions. I would love to hear your guys' feedback on some of the things we talked
Let's
about
engage.
today.
We want to engage more with you.
Yeah,
People at
absolutely.
home in your car watching us like Nick and I do.
It's a
Which
long-
you shouldn't
it's
be
a
doing,
long-
but that's
it's a-
fine.
it's
Welcome
a-
to the club.
It's a long. You know what? Hold on. You're starting to understand.
I
with the drive.
understood before. I just let that be like, you know what?
It's a Nick
I'll let
it's a
them
Nick
just
thing.
attack
It's a
you,
Nick
but
thing.
now I outed myself. And I'm like,
It's a thing that
Yeah.
when you're driving home and it's a 45-minute drive and you're stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic, you put a little thing on to entertain yourself.
That's it.
That's all it is.
I'm always listening to YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, how did your guys' week go? Was it me? Was it good? How was it?
Just another week for me.
It's been good for me, bad for Christy though.
Oh.
It's been a hell of a week for the poor girl.
Can you talk about what it was? Or is she good?
Just she had a minor car accident.
Oh,
we
yeah.
had that figured out. I was talking to you on the phone like right when that happened. I was like reading the text messages because I didn't hear the notification sound. I had you on speaker.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God, this all happened like 20, 30 minutes ago. What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
That's fine. We got that figured out.
I felt bad because I was on the phone with him, and then as we were talking, I was like, "Oh yeah, then we could do this, and we could do this, yada yada yada," and then all of a sudden, like all I hear is him go, "Oh God, oh God," and I'm like, "What happened?"
It's like,
immediately in my head was the Key and Peele sketch when the guy's trying to order pizza. And then the guy starts falling in love with this imaginary girl.
Oh,
that's
with
at
the-
this
with the
party.
imaginary- with
yeah.
the imagine-
Like, and then at the end, he's just like, "Oh my God, someone shot her in the face. Oh my God, she's died. She's dead. She's dead." And just
And then
like,
he Chinese it is. But
He was looking at the doll over there.
yeah, it's super funny because I was talking to him and he's like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then all I hear is the, "Oh God." Oh God. And I'm like, "What happened?" He goes, "Chris got in an accident. I gotta go." And then he just go click. And I'm like,
Where did I go? Nowhere, but just pacing back and forward in my house trying to get a hold of her.
I thought it was funny too because I called Monica immediately after.
yeah.
And I was like, I was on the phone with Sean, and I guess Christy got into a car accident.
Yeah.
And then she goes, "Oh, that's terrible." And then I'm like, she goes, "How's he gonna get to her?" isn't she driving their car?
Yeah.
And I'm like, Uber?
Yeah.
She's like, that's weird. Like you show up in an Uber to a car accident.
Yeah.
just drop a pin.
Of course.
Yeah, just drop a pin. Come on by. You inviting the entire neighborhood. Hey, you guys want to see my car accident?
Yeah.
You want to
Be there for more emotional
support.
Yeah. Or you can just be like, what'd you do this time?
Yeah.
It's just that car. It's so low and it's like so black and shiny. It blends into the environment very well. And it's always the same spot, the back left side of the car, that's had 3 accidents in that exact same spot.
Yeah.
I think that car is just cursed.
Don't start talking about curses because
it's trying to get you. It's
trying to get you. Ain't gonna get me. I'm never the one behind the wheel of an accident. Fortunately enough.
How about you, Rene? How was your week?
Not too bad. Just work. That's it. Nothing exciting happened.
Nothing exciting happened to you.
Nothing
No
to
one
share at
flashed
the
you?
moment. Huh?
No one flashed you?
No, unfortunately, no.
Darn. There's no naked homeless people here in Uptown.
Not anymore. Yeah.
Not anymore.
Not
There
anymore.
were before.
There used to
There
be.
was, yeah.
That's when Uptown was good.
Damn.
I would see.
Eventful.
Yeah, there was a lot. There was a lot of homeless people just kind of like just walking with like an open shirt, you know, men or women, and just like, whoa, okay,
Whoa.
yeah.
That's fun.
Whoa.
Yeah. No, I think it is odd because I didn't really have a very eventful week either. I think I played Marvel Rivals pretty much all week. I edited.
Made it
and
a
that was about
gold.
it. I did make it to
Hey.
gold. I was excited. I get a skin and. I was talking to a buddy of mine, and I go, I'm not playing competitive again. And he goes, why? It's fun. And I go, no, because I'm already at negative 21, gold 3. I get a skin. I get my skin. I get my skin.
Got my skin.
It's a skin that you can't buy.
It's a skin
you
I can't
cannot
buy.
You can
I got
only
it.
get it once.
I've already achieved.
As
I've
of
already
now.
gotten to the middle point of the mountain, not the top of the mountain, but the middle point.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I don't need anything. He's like, oh, well, but what about those title cards, man? You don't want those. I go, dude, I don't care about those.
No one looks at the title
Nobody
cards, to be
cares about
honest.
my title card. Like, it's
No,
the skin. The
unfortunately.
only thing that people are gonna look at is, oh, that guy made it to at least gold.
Yeah.
For all they know, I made it to plat, and I got that skin. You don't know.
Which skin was it?
It's the blood. It's the blood invisible woman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Sue Storm.
I haven't seen a full
I saw people's
body of it.
I saw people like concept of what they think the full thing looks like. It looks cool.
Can't Google it and see what it is. Oh, because you could do that with the Moon Knight skin.
You probably
when
can
it was.
You could probably Google it. But yeah, I mean, I've just been playing Marvel Rivals. That's about it. I need to get another game. You know what? I need to start replaying. I need to get back into Indiana Jones. I was loving it. I was halfway through. Then Marvel Rivals came out, and I dropped it.
Yeah.
And I need that game to
Yeah. A
game.
palate cleanser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my cyberpunk right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing with Silent Hill.
Yeah,
Silent Hill
yeah.
too.
I don't know why. It might be my tisms where like once I'm into a game, like that's all I'll play.
Yeah.
And everything else, and then it's just like really hard for me to jump back over. But also, my tisms are affecting me as well because I haven't finished Indiana Jones, and it's like you have to finish Indiana Jones because you're more than halfway. So yeah, there's a lot going on.
Play a different game. You don't need to play Rivals anymore. When you get a Grandmaster, it's funny. I saw like clips of people in those matches.
Yeah.
Since everyone is such a high rank, they're not even playing the game. They're just making boxing matches with the Groots, or it's just a dance party. Like everyone in the lobby is like, we're so high, we don't need to do anything. We don't even need to play.
The one that was fun was we were playing a quick match with your brother.
Oh.
And everybody went DPS. Like
Yeah.
Everybody,
Oh my God.
everybody just went DPS. Everybody went
Yeah.
duelist, and it was so funny because we all did it, and on our team they did it on accident where everybody just picked a DPS.
Yeah, Andrew's like, you know what the hell with it? I'm
Yeah.
just gonna be DPS too. I'm like, all right.
And then after we all did it,
I
somebody
messaged the team chat, not the team chat, the game chat.
You and another member of the team in the quick match was
me.
like, do it. Like in the other team, all DPS game, let's go, let's do this. And then the entire team did it except for one person.
Yeah.
And the other person, not Sean, was ridiculing that person the entire time. Of just going like, oh, you're not playing DPS because you can't. That's why.
Oh, it was their teammate.
Huh?
It was their teammate who was telling them that.
Oh yeah.
Because that was in the orange text too.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That's funny.
It was funny because he kept going to Rocket, and he was like trying to heal everybody, And I guess what he thought was if they're all going to go DPS, I heal everybody, we're obviously going to win.
No,
They
that's
didn't
not how it
win.
works.
No,
Color me surprised. We won.
Yeah, we ended up winning. Well, because we all just targeted the rocket. Because we were like, well, let's just kill the rocket then.
Yeah.
Just kill Rocket, and then you have a good 45 seconds.
When now
of
it's a
just-
4. Now it's a 5 against 6.
Yeah.
And that's not a great. So everybody was just switching their DPSs as they were, and it was fun because everybody was
You
kind
played
of
Magic, didn't you?
I was playing Magic for a bit.
Yeah.
I was able to play Magic.
Feeling the groove.
I like Magic. She's fun.
fun.
That's how I got in the Doom matches. That's how I ended up getting the 80
That's smart.
with Magic.
Yeah.
That was she's fun. She's a lot of fun. I can do it in Doom where I can get a lot of kills. Not so much inside of like quick matches yet. I think I need more practice with her.
It's staying alive and knowing when to engage.
Yeah, I did get pretty dirty with Wolverine. I do love my Wolverine is pretty fun.
You see that YouTube short I sent you where Wolverine's glitched and you can actually lunge and pull them back
I did see
backwards.
that.
I was
I need to try it. I really need to try it. But you can do that no matter what.
No, you can only go forward. You can't go back.
So
Can't go in reverse.
So Wolverine is a circle.
Yeah.
So imagine Wolverine facing right here. It's a circle.
No, that's his ult. This is his.
Hang on. So Wolverine he has his radius of him, right?
Yeah.
So if you turn around and then do it, and you're right next to somebody, you'll grab them and take them.
Oh,
you don't need to be right in front of them.
You need a really good flick then to
that's
to
why
land them.
it's a tough thing that I've been trying to learn, and it has not been going well.
Just go to practice range, throw it on the dummy, make it random their movement.
I got to keep doing it and everything else. But seeing as we all didn't have really eventful weeks. That's a lame.
The government did though, that's for sure.
Oh my God! Let's not even get into that.
Yeah.
That was
No,
wild.
we're not.
That was a wild week.
But
for that.
it's a
Oh my God.
doozy.
Yeah.
Yeah. The world is falling apart around us, and I just want to focus in on the
I'm here to
fun
watch
things.
it burn.
Yeah.
Burn, baby.
Like I said, if you guys want to see how our future will look, just watch Fever Vendetta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vendetta or Idiocracy. either one.
Idiocracy. Yeah.
Idiocracy, but I feel like that's the end game. That's
that's like the aftermath.
That's where we're going.
Yeah.
We're already all wearing Crocs. We already got one thing down.
Yeah.
But
I like money.
it's what plants crave.
What's the name of that?
Brondo.
Brondo.
is
Scouts what plants crave.
It's so funny because going into
They
that,
crave electrolytes.
one of
They crave electrolytes.
I remember I remember being in my government class in high school,
Yeah.
and that was mandatory watching. We had to watch Idiocracy.
Mike Judd,
Wow.
you genius.
And when we watched it, it was funny because in government class, we were the first thing he told us is like, when you don't care, this is what happens.
Yeah.
That's a great way of scaring them.
And then everybody was like, what? He goes, when you don't care and you don't pay attention to what's going on in the world, this is what's going to happen. He goes, so pay attention. And then we all watched it, and it's a hilarious. That's how I watched Idiocracy.
Yeah, that's how you saw you at school.
At school, yeah,
funny.
which is funny because I don't think that he was supposed to be showing us that movie.
No, not at all.
But
Go away, I'm baiting.
yeah,
Yeah. That's like my favorite line. Oh yeah. It's like,
I like money.
I like money.
We have to go to Costco to do your immigration forms.
Welcome to Costco. I love you. Honestly, if I worked at Costco, I would say that. I'll probably get fired after the first day.
Carlos Jr. is now taking your children.
Right.
But let's go ahead and get into
a lot of trailers.
We had a lot of trailers.
Yeah.
We have a big main topic. We're going to be talking about Fantastic Four, Invincible, Jurassic Park, and was there another trailer that came out that I don't remember? No, trailer.
I feel like there was.
The only thing that I'm thinking of, and it's because I'm a huge fan, is the opening the DMC.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That
We'll
is
mention that if we have time.
If we have time, we'll
throw
get
in.
into it.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and jump straight into comic strips. Comic strips, where we talk about topics that are no more than 1 to 5 minutes, as long as we don't tangent.
That's not true.
That's not
1 to 5 or 1 to 15.
You guys have been watching us for this long now. You guys know that.
Yeah.
we should take that out of the script.
You guys get
I think
the
at that
routine.
point we have to.
Yeah,
reformat,
but comic strips, shorter issues, shorter things
Yeah.
that don't really make it into the main show. But I'm interested in it.
Plus, Brian's not here to say no.
Yeah, he has no say on this one.
You have no power
So
over us.
Sarah Michelle Gellar will return to star as Buffy the Vampire Hunter. Chloe Zhao from Eternals is set to direct the pilot. This new series will be on Hulu.
That's interesting. So, are they gonna just kind of go off of how the show ended and then do like obviously a time jump of where we are now? Or are they gonna take aspects of like comics that?
Well, because the comics continued the series.
Yes.
Because the comics, the way that the compendiums were in seasons.
Yes.
It wasn't like, oh yeah, the comic book did this. It was cool. I think Buffy ended in season 9 or 8. So then it would go, okay, cool. The comic book that came out, this is season 10.
Yeah.
And then when this when the whole thing finished, it went on to season 11, 12, I think all the way to like 15 or 16.
Yeah. I remember the last issue.
What if they just do live action of the compendiums? And
They could,
but also there was some things in those books that are
doesn't need to be
not great, and everything else. There's a lot of things that are not controversial, but like there's stuff that a lot of people didn't like. The quality very much dipped.
Yeah.
By the end of it, the curious thing that I'm more interested in is the fact that this is going to be one of the first times that we're going to have a Buffy and Joss Whedon is not going to be
That's true
involved.
too. Yeah.
So I'm wondering how exactly the humor is going to be kind of played off, how the characters' relationships are going to be kind of played off, and everything else. Because
And then who's willing to come back and who's not? That's another thing.
I think James Marston would probably James Masterson.
Yeah.
I think he'll come back.
Oh, Spike. Yeah.
Yeah, Spike. David Boreanaz, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
was that Angel?
Angel. Yeah. What was it? What's her name? The girl from How I Met Your Mother.
She died.
Allison Hannigan.
Oh yeah.
But
She would come back. Yeah. As
Allison
Willow.
Hannigan survived. Yeah, Willow
Willow.
survives.
Yeah.
She survives the end.
I thought Willow died.
Xander. No, Willow doesn't die at the end.
Does Angel die at the end of Angel?
No, he does not.
Oh, okay.
But also, Angel that would be a very interesting show because the end of Angel, because Angel gets canceled.
My mom loved Angel.
Angel was great.
Angel was a great show.
I loved when they went weird with the episodes, like when Angel turns into a puppet.
That was
so great.
That was when they take over the law firm and everything. Angel ends a little weird though, because Angel ends with the end of the world.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I remember that specifically.
So Angel ends with the end of the world because you have because I would be interested in seeing Gunn because Gunn showed up in what was it in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He showed up in the guy who played Gunn. You also have Spike. There's a lot of characters that are in there. Some people are actually passed away.
Yeah. Also, Angel had a son.
Angel did have a son
at the end of the series.
who was trying to have a relationship with Cordelia. It got really
that was weird. Yeah.
So that was during the writer's strike. That's that whole season with like his son going to the demon realm and then coming back. And he's like 15 years older.
Yeah.
And then he's trying to like sleep with Cordelia, and that got really weird.
Yeah.
The main reason I want James Masterson to come back is because it's out of spite. Because Spike was never meant to make it past episode 3. And it would be a giant middle finger to Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
Because Spike was only supposed to be like a small villain. He was supposed to be like.
I like how he was a long time running villain.
But
the
original idea that Spike was just like
he was supposed to be like a villain of the week.
He was too hot.
But
he was too hot.
And that was the thing is that Spike was way too hot. And the audience really gravitated to him, and Joss Whedon hated it because that wasn't his story. But the studio was like, you need to keep him because that's what's bringing the audience. Like the audience loves him as a reoccurring villain. And so he kept bringing him on, and he said that Joss Whedon kept threatening him.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire production, going like, I'm going to kill you this week.
Yeah.
Like there was instances of Joss Whedon's like being a jerk.
Yeah.
For years.
Yeah.
And James Masterson used to talk about it a lot. And he used to go like, he hated me, and would always like give me gruff about being on the show and how he was going to kill off my character and that like afterwards I wasn't going to be able to work anymore and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah, like
That's straight up harassment.
He talks about it very candidly now.
Josh Whedon was
a monster.
Yeah, he's an a-hole.
Yeah, he was a hardcore a-hole. But I love the way
He gave us Avengers, right?
He did give us
Yeah, and then he gave us Firefly.
Oh yeah.
You know what? That would be an interesting show to get another season.
Yeah, without Josh Whedon.
That's another
up there.
Joss
Yeah.
Whedon thing.
Yeah.
But
Everyone wants that.
because Firefly, it only had one season
And then a movie.
and then a movie, and then that was it.
Yeah.
And you don't really know what happened after that.
Yeah.
You just kind of assumed that the government fell apart after
Yeah.
that. So that would be a great show. But for Sarah Michelle Gellar to be interested, I would imagine it would be a solid script.
Yeah, and then her agreeing to come back too to take on a character that she hasn't touched in decades.
Yeah.
You know, and willing to come back and do something with
Chloe Zhao.
Chloe
Yeah.
Zhao. That's interesting.
Yeah, and Chloe's I liked Eternal. I thought it was a good movie. It's not as good as Marvel was really hoping
Yeah,
for.
they put too much faith into it.
Yeah, and a lot of like the Eternals cast were even saying too,
Yeah.
like they were putting this on like Oscars.
Yeah.
Like they were really going like this is gonna be
Yeah.
like the greatest thing.
Yeah.
They
Did
were
it-
putting it in an art house.
Did it feel like a Marvel movie to you though? Because
It did.
honestly, yeah, it did.
did.
But it was good for what it was.
Yeah.
It
If-
just like if you tell me this is a Marvel movie, I'm like, are you sure?
You know what would have been interesting? I think if it would have been so hard to do marketing wise because you were hoping for that superhero money of going. It's coming from Marvel Studios, but it's not like a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, going like, oh, this takes place in the Marvel universe and everything else. But that's really hard to do. I mean, because Eternals had such a huge cast. It's had like A-list actors and everything
Poor
else.
guy, what's his name? The Indian actor.
Kumail Nanjiani.
That- this actually gave him PTSD.
PTSD from all the like fan threats and just like it got
And-
ugly
Well, yeah,
for
because
him.
they were really hyping him up. They did the same thing. What is it that
They did to Affleck.
Yeah, they did to Affleck, or they did to the actor that played Cyborg as well too.
God, I hope Booster Gold that role doesn't like.
I would love him as Booster Gold. He would be a great Booster Gold. My thing for this is I would love to see David Boreanaz come back. He would
Yes.
I would love to see where the world is because at the end of I don't know if anybody's ever seen Buffy. Go watch Buffy. It's a great show.
It really is.
It's a really good show.
It's a really good show.
I do have to warn everybody. Season 1 is rough.
It's like how all seasons that have
in the
a
early
long,
2000s?
yeah,
Just dated.
no, that, and then just like when you binge watch a show that has more than like 7 seasons,
Yes.
the show doesn't find its footing in this first season. It's always in second season.
Season 2.
Yeah, season 2. That like, okay, this is what fans liked. Let's just run with that.
Because I think the first season is the Master.
Yeah.
That's the Master is a weak. It's
yeah,
a weak villain.
It's a weak, yeah. Compared to other villains that they had, same thing with Supernatural.
Yes.
With Supernatural, when they had to deal with like the yellow-eyed demon and stuff, and like,
But he was kind of interesting.
I liked it. I
liked
liked the Yellow-Eyed
but,
Demon
but
storyline.
as of compared to other villains that they take
Yes.
it on and stuff.
Yeah,
like
later-
that.
later on they get a
obviously
lot bigger.
the bar
Yeah.
grew more and more.
But I would love to see where they kind of take everything, just because at the end of what was it? Because at the very end of Buffy, did you ever finish Buffy?
No,
Did you?
or at least I don't
I've watched
remember
it,
it
yeah.
because I would watch it with my
So
mom.
the end of Buffy
as it would
is
Yeah.
So at the end of Buffy, she destroys the town. They end up destroying all of the
yeah,
town.
with the
The
original
Hellmouth.
cast, and then also
They closed. So at the end of Buffy, they
were
closed the
training.
Hellmouth.
They were training hunters, weren't they too?
So what they were doing was because at the very end of what was it? At the very end of the show, what they were doing is the villain, because it was the darkness. It was basically all evil in the world was their main villain.
Yeah.
It's something that can't be destroyed, but it can be subdued. And the end of it was that they couldn't kill the Slayer, and they knew that they couldn't kill the Slayer. So what they did is they started killing off her line. So they were killing off every person that could potentially be a Slayer. And then what they did is they then at the very end collected all the Slayers together.
Yes. Oh, okay.
And then they started training them to be Slayers, and even the Slayers were going like, how could, like, what does this matter? We're all never going to become Slayers as long as you're alive. And so Buffy at the very end is able to make everyone a Slayer. She activates every single Slayer that's ever that could ever and will ever exist. People will
Time travel.
No. She spreads the Slayer powers across everybody and basically activates every single Slayer across the planet.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's how they are able to beat the darkness. And the end of it, kind of ends the way that you would imagine Jedi would have ended,
Yeah.
where she now has these slayers all across the world, and she basically forms a slayer school where she now is like collecting kids. She basically starts a Jedi Academy.
Yeah. Hear that, Kathleen Kennedy? Yeah.
Yeah, she started
that could have been Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, she started a Slayer Academy, and now she's like picking, and her entire goal is to like go roam the world and collecting Slayers and protecting them, because there's Slayers that are like in like terrible households. There's everything
I'm
else.
gonna rewatch Buffy.
It's a great show.
Yeah, Buffy.
I know Christy's never seen it. She's gonna want to watch that.
Yeah.
No, Buffy's a very interesting concept that was adapted from the show.
It's
the
great
movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That
the
movie
movie
was
was
awesome.
great.
I like
The
it.
movie is a lot of fun.
That
Yeah.
actress, who is she? I don't remember.
Christy
her.
Swanson.
Yeah,
Christy Swanson.
Yeah, Christy Swanson.
I'm
Very
interested in
That
it.
jean jacket. Thing.
I'm interested to seeing where in the world
Yeah,
Buffy is, because Willow becomes like a grand wizard.
yeah.
Not that kind of grand wizard, but like she becomes like a master.
Very powerful sorcerer of
Yeah.
some sorts. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Tara, because Tara's death really like throws her down. That's a wild death too. That is. Have you ever seen?
I remember
death?
her dying. I just don't know how she died.
She dies from a stray bullet.
Yeah.
She what was it?
That vaguely rings a bell.
There's like
Yeah.
a really sad episode they do that deals with like the death of a parent that
Yeah.
they do with her. It's so well done.
Yeah. So what they do is that Buffy's mom dies. And they're like, well, if she died of like a spell, if she died from like this, like did somebody kill her? And it was a brain aneurysm.
Yeah.
Buffy
was trying to figure out if someone killed
Killed
her
her.
because of Buffy.
Yeah.
Like that would be the only reason why she had to
But
die.
and then you realize that no, it's just brain. It was natural.
It was-
It was just it was
it was something out of her control.
And I'll give it to Joss. It was great writing where each member of the Scoobies had were taking on a form of grief.
Yeah.
Xander was anger. You had Willow, who was in denial. You had Buffy, who was bargaining and everything else, because she's like trying to make deals with like demons and stuff like that to bring her back.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting episode. Honestly, one of my favorites. That and Once More with Feeling.
Oh yeah.
I love Once More with Feeling. That's their musical episode.
Yeah.
It's a great
I
episode.
forgot about that. I forgot they did a musical episode.
But honestly, I would put that with the greatest musical episode in television. The reason being is because in their season, everybody has a secret, and no one's talking about their secrets.
Yeah.
And like Buffy was brought back to life, and she was ripped out of heaven. What was it? Dawn is feeling lonely and she's stealing things. Xander doesn't want to get married and he's questioning whether or not because he's marrying a demon. Willow is dealing with dark powers. You have Spike, who's dealing with like the fact that he loves Buffy, but she doesn't love him back. And like every single time that she comes to him, it rips his heart out, and no one's talking about it. The musical episode makes everybody break into song about their problems, and they reveal their secrets to everybody, and it's very much
so clever.
And and that's what puts you into the second half of the season, because now everybody knows everybody's secrets, and now everything's on the table, and this is what propels us into the second half of the season. Because it's one of those things of like, how would Buffy ever tell anybody that she was ripped out of heaven? And she's talking about it, and she's talking about how she wants to die because she goes, I was happy. I was in heaven, and you guys ripped me out. And that's why I've been so depressed, and that's why I've been acting weird, because I was happy, and you guys ripped me out of heaven. It's what I deserved. And like all of her friends are like, oh my God, what did we do? We should have just left her dead. And it's a weird feeling too of going, we should have left our friend dead, but it's cool. It's a great episode. The musical numbers, everything else, awesome. Also, it's a musical orgasm. They have a musical orgasm inside of the. I'll show it to you later. It's a great song. It's a great song. It's Willow and Tara, and they're singing to each other because Tara is concerned with Willow playing with dark magic. And then she ends up talking. They end up singing, and then Willow goes down on her, and then she then hits that high note, and then it goes even higher as she climaxes. It's hilarious. It's a great. Joss Whedon did have some great writing. He's still a monster. I'm excited to see it. first poster for Gareth Edwards' Jurassic World Rebirth has come out. It looks a lot like the original poster. I feel like Jurassic Park doesn't really know what it is.
It doesn't have an identity.
I feel like, and we can kind of, I feel like we can kind of like get into Jurassic World a little
dinosaurs.
bit.
That's the only thing they're gonna.
you just watched the trailer, so
I did.
Yeah, so you have like the freshest opinion right now.
I was blah about it.
Yeah,
like I was kind of blah about it. Because it feels like the reboot of the reboot.
Yes,
and it's
minus the kids.
But the thing is that so it's minus the kids, yes, but you kind of took away from what you built in Jurassic World. Like like at the very end of Dominion is that Jurassic World is everywhere. Like now the planet has become Jurassic World.
Yeah,
like that's the whole point.
Devalued it.
It does, and then you then go into Rebirth and it's going like we got to go back to the island and everything else, and I'm kind of like, okay, I kind of understand why you got to go back to the island, but also why?
Yeah, that's the thing. We've had what
3 movies,
and then.
This
but also like the original movies as well too. It
3,
always
6. So this is gonna be the 7th one.
Well, going back to the original island because you have both cartoons of the Jurassic Park, the ones that were on Netflix.
Camp Cretaceous.
Yes, those all take place on Isla Nublar.
And the Tall Tale game too.
Telltale game also takes place on Isla Nublar. The first movie takes place on Isla Nublar. The first Jurassic World takes place on Isla Nublar. The first half of the second Jurassic World movie takes place on Isla Nublar. Because remember they go back because they're gonna go get dinosaurs because Isla Nublar's volcano is exploding, which also that makes this movie not make sense because that was the entire point.
I think you missed it in the trailer because they said this. I don't think this is Isla Nublar that they're going to. Where they said this is the site that was too dangerous for even the originals.
Well, they said that all the
dinosaurs.
All these dinosaurs that are on this island are here because they were too dangerous on the other islands.
So I don't know if it's so. That's my only concern. I don't know if it's actually on Isla Nublar. If it's on a different island.
I think it is.
I think
my money's that it's not on it.
I think in the second trailer they'll explain it more.
Yeah, my only thing is that because you already know that John Hammond bought this island chain, and that was kind of his plan.
A, B, and C.
Because he had an A, B, and a C, and then the A was going to be the main park. B was where they were experimenting on dinosaurs, and that's where 3 takes place. And then you had another island that hasn't really. When does 2? Does 2 take place on Isla Nublar as well?
No,
that's a different island.
I think
they even mention it in the movie. Like I thought you've been here.
Yeah.
That was a different island.
Sorry, the third island is 2. The third island is 2 because then that's in 3. They
Universal. You see the work we have to do.
Oh yeah.
It's a very weird like tapestry that
the second movie is a different island than the first island.
Yes.
It's not the same island.
2 is the same island.
Is it?
Because they go to go.
You
get
have the internet.
T-Rex.
Yeah. Google this.
I'm telling you because they go to go get the T-Rex.
Man in the chair.
Because in the second one they go to go get the T-Rex and then they capture him and put him back on Isla Nublar.
Okay.
That's the entire point of 2 is to capture the T-Rex. I don't know.
No, they were getting dinosaurs from another island so that way they can bring it to San Francisco. Yes. Because they were creating and developing a park without them knowing. They gave them this guise that it's like we're doing this, but it's like no, it was Hammond's I think nephew,
something like that. Yeah, he was the villain. That's why I'm thinking. I think it's on the third island. I think 2 takes place on the third island. Because you have the third island. The first island was Jurassic World and Jurassic Park, and then
the second movie is the third site.
Is the third
site P?
Let me see. Hold on.
Lost
No,
World.
the island in Jurassic Park 2 is not the same island in Jurassic Park.
Okay, so
While both are part of the Jurassic Park franchise, the second movie takes place in a different island called Isla Sorna. When the first film is Isla Nublar.
Okay, so Isla Sorna, and then the other one is another island.
Yeah.
I watched this 3-hour long YouTube video of Jurassic Park iceberg. It's a shame that people don't dive deeper into this stuff because one, the Michael Crichton books, Lost World, super awesome.
It's really good.
Different direction, super soldier dinosaur hybrids. You know, and I thought they were going to do.
Wasn't the pitch to at least this movie that it's closer to the books?
They said that for Dominion, I think the one with the Endoraptor.
Yeah.
That's the one that people were speculating because they had mentioned it and like, oh, we have a new genetically modified dinosaur and they're mixing it with human DNA because she
stop
does.
with the messing with dinosaur DNA at this point.
It's frog DNA, bro. It's frog DNA.
I was, you know, what's funny. Speaking of which, because the original from Jurassic World popped up that clip. Of when he's talking to the
billionaire.
When the billionaire and Dr. Wu are talking, and then it's like, who authorized you to do this? And then he's like, oh, you did. I think you said you wanted them scarier.
Cooler.
Cooler is what you said. And then he goes, you can't have those drastic features without also having their characteristics.
I loved
behaviors.
Someone pointed out in a funny YouTube video I watched, I don't remember, but it was every time they talked about the dinosaurs like abilities, the billionaire, it was the same conversation. The billionaire was like, why would a dinosaur need to camouflage its body heat? And
this is the Indian guy.
Yes.
And then
I liked him.
and then the doctor would be like, well, you know, we used so and so genes because they show that. And I'm like, dude, this guy had an answer for every single one.
We used cuttlefish.
Yeah, cuttlefish
DNA.
DNA.
Cuttlefish can no, because it was, why does he have camouflage?
Yeah.
And then he goes, oh, because it was cuttlefish. And then he goes, how was he able to hide from thermo technology? And he goes, oh, we used a rainforest a frog from the rainforest, and they can modulate their temperature,
the body temperature. Yeah.
And I was like, that's wild,
right?
That's just wild. Also,
he picked very interesting specs from different animals.
I know. I just thought it was super funny. Where at a certain point he was like, how do I make a monster?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, the new one in the trailer looks like a straight up rancor.
Oh yeah,
it does.
Big old beast
with thumbs.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it has ape in it. I think.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing that makes sense.
I hope it does.
Because it has that
a
gorilla.
reptile mammal dinosaur hybrid.
Because it kind of looks like it has a gorilla kind of like.
It's stocky.
It.
If it has like the gorilla
bipedal.
form, but like covered in scales, that'd be cool.
And not only that, but its face kind of looks like the that hammer.
Oh
like the one with the horn where you can bash his head in.
People are gonna freak when it walks on two legs, and it's just like it's just gonna be
I would
walking
love to
like
see
this.
that monster take on a T-Rex.
I think that'd be awesome.
Rexy's officially dead.
I think it's so interesting to kind of like see them go like, oh, how do we fix Jurassic Park?
Scarlett Johansson
and
ScarJo.
You know what's doing well right now? Those Kong movies. Those Kong movies are doing well.
Yeah, those Kong and Godzilla
movies. For our dinosaur movie.
I think it's so funny because whenever I hear that, I always think of the Kevin Smith one where he's like, "So you just want me to put King Kong in the Jurassic Park movie? Like, what do you want me to do?" And they're just like, "What about if we had a Jurassic Park, like a T-Rex that was mixed with like a gorilla?" And it's like two different species. I don't think they would do. You don't know anything about species. The movies, man. It's the movies, man. Everybody will believe it. It's splicing, whatever. We already did it with a human. Obviously, it makes sense. Yeah, we spliced it. What's the next thing?
First poster for the live action Gundam movie has surfaced.
I left it. The Instagram's up there.
The darting comet over the Earth, right?
I think it's either that one or it's the other one.
That one, yep.
There.
The comet darting over Earth. That's it.
Oh,
I'm excited.
That looks cool.
I'm excited.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm really hoping that they use Gundam Wing. Because I think Gundam Wing is a very solid,
like visually,
it's very pretty movie.
Do you think the production company wants to turn this into a franchise or a one-off? Because if they do one-off, they can do Gundam Wing, but if they want to do franchise, they can totally go back to like Amuro and like back to the 70s, and there's so much in between that they can just slowly add.
There's a lot that you can also add for Wing. Like Gundam Wing has a lot.
I want heavy politics in this movie. I really need that for this movie because that is
I feel like that's
the other half of Gundam.
I feel like that's not going to happen.
Nah. You're asking for too much, bro.
No, because here's my thing.
I'm not asking
for
much.
For a gun as a Gundam lover, as somebody who grew up with Gundam Wing and like Gundam and like the original Gundam and everything else and all these others, I feel that when you hit the politics, that is when you lose a lot of people because there's a lot of like like colonial politics that's going on, trade agreements. It's the same thing. It's the same argument that you get when you start going into like the prequels, where they're just like, man, George Lucas really spent a lot of time on this trade agreement. Like he really needed to move that along.
Yeah.
And you're kind of going like, it was very important. And and everything else, I'm interested to kind of see, because the reason why I want Wing is because I like the fact that there's not just one Gundam. I like that there's 7.
Yeah.
In all the other Gundams, there's always just a singular Gundam that is like the main one.
Well, let's not overwhelm the people with the bunch. Let's just give them one. The iconic.
The reason why I like it is because when you have one and it's an isolated character who's dealing with the issues, it becomes a very centered. Whereas if you have 7 who are all kind of dealing with their own inner politics, because
What did
they're
Sonic
all
do?
Huh?
What did Sonic do?
What do you mean?
They just introduced Sonic in the first one.
True. You could always do that too. I mean, that's probably gonna be their route where it's only one. But I do like seeing the team aspect of having multiple Gundams, because then everybody can communicate with each other. That's true. And everything else. I'm not gonna lie. The one I really want to see is Zoids, because
Oh God,
that's my baby. I love Zoids. So I think
Liger
I hope
Zero, dude.
Oh yeah, dude.
I always wanted one.
A Liger Zero.
Yeah.
I have the model.
I know. I've seen it.
It's so great. But I think I'm really hoping that if Gundam does well, maybe we get a Zoids. Maybe. Who knows?
Who owns the IP for Zoids? What company has that? That is not Bandai.
I have no idea. All right, what's the next thing? I'm excited for it. I like it.
Me too.
I was copying and pasting a lot.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say.
I was just
Well, I'm trying to see. I'm like, okay, hold
Scrambling.
on.
no, because on the last one I put bullets. And so it made it super easy to read. On this one, I didn't have a lot of time. So I was just copying and pasting a lot of stuff.
I don't know what this.
What is it?
This is about Bakugan.
Oh,
Bakugan.
Bakugan is getting
Bakugan.
a live action movie.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, Bakugan 2?
Yeah, Bakugan is getting a live action movie. I think it has Brett Patterson is already set to direct it. And I think it's...
What has he worked on? Name doesn't ring a bell.
I can't remember off the top of my head. But we are getting a Bakugan movie.
That's interesting. Wow.
She's going to be kids in the yard
there it
throwing
is.
metal
It's that one.
balls.
It's that one.
Oh, okay.
What?
The franchise spans over multiple animated series. Oh yeah, this just says it will premiere on Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
Oh wait. Oh yeah.
Oh, so it's not getting a movie. It's just going to be like
No,
a
it's gonna
live
get a
action.
movie. It's
a live action movie that's premiering on Cartoon Network.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Usually when
What
that
was
happens,
that,
they're not
great.
They're not great.
They're not
The
great.
Ben 10 one was
That was rough.
They did 2 of those.
But I like
they tried to do a
rough.
second one too
But
when
if
he's a
you
He had
watch
the
it,
teenager.
I'll
balls
watch
to
it
ask
again.
for a second
Yeah.
one. There was somebody walked in and went, "Didn't we do well?"
Yeah.
And they were like, "No, you didn't."
Yeah, no.
And he was like, "I think you know what? I think we can fix it in a sequel." And they were like, "What is wrong with you, dude? No, stop." I'm excited for it. I liked Bakugan as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
It is what it is.
Next one is Rudada Mulika will play a character named Tucker in Marvel's Vision series. Will be on Disney Plus. Oh, the Vision series.
Yeah,
okay.
the Vision series. They started casting.
Cool.
That actor is going to be playing something. So we know that Vision is happening.
Okay.
Speaking of that one too, they also gave an update on Armor Wars. It is postponed. They said that we are still working on it. It is not dead, but it is postponed.
This is the first time I've heard Armor Wars in a while.
I know.
I
so
thought
they-
they had
they-
I honestly dropped it.
It's not dead.
I'm glad that they're not dissolving it. It seems that Marvel is now looking into certain characters and projects now that like, oh yeah, we have a plan, but we're not going to do it now, because they did the same thing for Captain America: Brave New World. A wrestler, well-known wrestler, was supposed to be in it, Seth Rollins, but they completely cut out his scenes and then reshot certain scenes with Giancarlo's, yeah.
And they combined their characters.
Yeah, so that character is going to be more of line of what Seth Rollins was supposed to be, but they told him, we're not getting rid of you yet. We're going to use you in a different project. And I was like, okay, that's cool. I was like, all right, it was like a missed opportunity, and then he's never going to get it again.
Can you look up what else that actor's been in?
This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
What he's been in. But I'm interested to see that one. Armor Wars is you know what I think they're going to be waiting for? Ironheart. how Ironheart does.
That makes sense.
Because I wholeheartedly feel that Armor Wars is a better story. It would have been a better story immediately after Endgame.
Yeah.
Because it's Rhodey dealing with the effects of Tony Stark being dead and him trying to carry on his legacy without him.
Too much time has passed at this point.
And all of Tony's technology is now spread across the world and it's being misused.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great plot, and you have Riri Williams helping him as somebody who admired Tony Stark and really like looked up to him, helping. That would have been a really cool story. It's been far too long for us to continue that. Not only that, but with Secret Invasion, you kind of messed that up. Because in Secret Invasion, you said that Rhodes was a Skrull.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a Skrull at the end of Endgame.
Endgame, yeah.
So really quick, the actor that they did cast, he's a Scottish actor, and he's only done like TV and some Scottish movies.
Good for him, then.
So this is his big Hollywood break.
Nice.
Good for him.
Okay, that's good for him.
I'm excited to see what he does and what character they put him in and everything. I mean, he's a good looking. He's a handsome fellow.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna put him as.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see where Vision Quest kind of goes. Is it still called Vision Quest, or is
It's
it
just called Vision.
Vision, right?
It's just called Vision.
Because it used to be called Vision Quest.
Yeah.
Because in that one we do know that Billy is coming back for that one. He's already been cast, which also means that Agatha is coming back for it as well. I'm interested to kind of see where that goes. I'm hoping they do bring Wanda back.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we find out that Wanda is like an ethereal thing and they have to
Force ghost.
Well, or they have to pull her out of the Darkhold, or she's like trapped in a different dimension and like she's kind of like in stasis or something else. There's a lot of things. No body, no death.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. Exactly.
No body, no death. Go. What was the next
All
one?
right, next one is Will Forte has continued to express his frustration with Warner Brothers' decision to shelf Coyote versus Acme movie in order to take a $30 million tax write-off. My thoughts were that the effing balls, it's effing bullcrap. It is such a delightful movie. It deserves so much better than it got.
You know what? From everything I've heard about the Wiley versus Acme movie, I think this would have been a blockbuster.
It would have been really good.
I think this would have really put everything on the map, especially like regaining that interest in it. I think what happened was Space Jam. Space Jam killed this movie.
Yeah.
Because Space Jam Legacy did not do as well as they were hoping.
That movie was terrible.
That movie was so overly hyped, and that the whole like
the cameos.
It's gonna make the movie great. Cameos. You're gonna have the mask. You're gonna have
I feel like Warner Brothers didn't learn their lesson from Back in Action. Warner Brothers.
I liked Back in Action as a kid,
but Back in Action suffers from that as well.
It does.
Because I like Back in Action as well. And I love Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser is amazing.
That was such a good movie.
I also didn't know that Brendan Fraser was up for Superman.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He's a tall dude.
Yeah, Brendan Fraser was up for Superman for Bryan Singer's Superman.
Yeah, Superman Returns.
In Superman Returns. He was up for it. I did not know that. There was 3 people that were in the running. Brandon Routh, Brendan Fraser, and Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Those were the 3 that were in the running. And then when that failed, when Superman Returns fails, they then scrap the idea, and because even Bryan Singer says, I made the mistake of using of using the 70s Superman, the Superman movie.
Yeah, he based off of his movie off of the Christopher Reeve Superman.
Yeah, Superman's, and he goes, that was the mistake I made. I should have made my own Superman and let Brandon Routh really shine. And then that's how Zack Snyder gets involved, because they then go back through the old audition tapes, and that's where we find Henry Cavill. And then that's how Henry Cavill gets Superman. Yeah. Which is so interesting. I was like, oh my God, this is so fun. But for the Acme thing, from what I've heard, this movie is awesome. It has John Cena, Will Forte. It's a court case. I think if you would have made it Looney Tunes mixed in with a little bit of My Cousin Vinny, that would have been an awesome movie. And well, because also, did you know that there was a Tony Hawk Acme movie?
A Tony Hawk Acme movie? No.
Yeah. So Tony Hawk talks about it, where apparently it was gonna be another sequel. This was gonna be the original sequel for Space Jam. Where instead of it being another basketball movie, it was going to be a skating. It was going to be an X Games skateboarding movie. Yeah. And the thing that killed it was Back in Action, because Back in Action doesn't do the. So he said that, oh yeah, Back in Action is coming out. They're thinking that it's going to do buku bucks, and that's going to be, and then we're going to pivot into the next Space Jam movie, and we're going to use Tony Hawk in his prime to go ahead and be Tony Hawk.
That would have been cool.
The amount of actors in Back in Action was like the roster was big.
Oh yeah,
big.
And so what ends up happening is that he goes to go do like a film shoot or something like that. They've already written a script. They're already like saying we've already written contracts. Yeah. We've done everything else. When you get back, we're gonna start shooting. Back in Action comes out. Bombs.
Tanks, yeah.
And then they were like, so what happened after that? And he goes, I never got a phone call from Warner Brothers after that. He goes, the project just died out of nowhere. So I think that would have been a great idea. I think Acme versus Wile E. Coyote would have been a great one too. I want them to bring it back.
Yeah.
I also want them to show off what was it called? Batgirl.
Oh yeah.
But they Gunn and them said that it's no good. They're saying that it'll never see the light of day.
Yeah, I think they kind of have to say that. I think that just to have people, because if you have enough fans outroar and stuff, at some point, I mean, they did that for the Snyder Cut, you know? So I think they just they want to avoid something like that. They just, because it's not part of Gunn's universe. I think it doesn't make sense, at least.
It doesn't. Yeah. Especially seeing as Gunn says, like, there can be multiple universes in his thing. I've seen plot from the Batgirl movie as well. It's an interesting movie. It has a very weak ending.
I think what also is
very weak ending.
It takes place after Flash.
It does.
Yeah. So, and then Flash didn't do too well, and they shot so many different reshoots. And I think after what Flash became, and you watch Batgirl after that, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. It just doesn't work. But I would love to see this movie. If you were to tell me that that Wile E. Coyote versus Acme was coming out next week, I'd buy tickets.
Yeah, just put it on Max. Something.
I think put it on Max. I mean, it's already failing.
Yeah,
just watch it.
Yeah. At this point, just let them see. Like, okay, yeah. All right. Next piece of news: R.I.P. Captain America Cal. This is a quote from Anthony Mackie when asked about the white cow. I told them I was never wearing that crap again, said Anthony Mackie. Basically, I guess he wants to move forward with that without the whole.
So
it would fog up in the lenses.
Yeah.
It was hot and sweaty. I saw the interview and I was laughing. I'm like,
it made sense because he was talking about it, and because one of I think he was interviewing with IGN, and they went, why is it in Captain America 4? You didn't do the white cowl that you had in Winter Soldier, and he goes, because I told them I wouldn't do 4 if I had to do the cowl.
Yeah,
and he goes, it's not practical. He goes, it's just not a practical suit helmet. He goes, the cowl, it was hard to move in, it was hard to breathe in. He goes, the goggles would fog up on me, and then we'd have to clean the goggles. He goes, production wise, wearing it was uncomfortable. He goes, I'm glad I was able to.
It didn't look comfortable either. It made him look very stiff, like
it did,
like a neck brace,
like the Batman cowl. Like he had to go like this.
Yes, his whole body. Yeah, the whole body movement isn't great.
What?
Yeah, I think it's reasonable.
Yeah,
we got to see it. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Also, his suit evolved. This has been some time after.
Yeah, it happens with all superheroes, especially in Marvel movies.
Yep.
Yeah, all their costumes get.
Yeah, because that's how you make toys.
I think Cap had the coolest change of costume. Who? Captain America, from like what he started in First Avenger to what we get in Endgame.
Oh yeah.
Loved it. Honestly, I think he has the sickest like outfit wardrobe change.
Yeah, he does.
To, like, I mean, Iron Man always looked the same.
I know that Chris Evans didn't like Avengers 1. Captain America costume.
He said it was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It looked.
He said it was very uncomfortable. It was very unpractical, and he goes, especially me having to do a lot of stunts in it. It was not great, and that's the reason why throughout like Endgame and everything else they make fun of it is because it's a terrible suit.
Yeah.
I don't know what this. So this is this part because
Was it?
it starts as a quote.
What was? Just read it off for me.
It says it doesn't mean we'll never make Armor Wars, but it doesn't. Oh, okay.
That was the connection. That was
okay.
that was the one for Armor Wars where they were saying we're not going to make it. It's not that we're not going to make it. It's just that it's still on the table and everything else.
Okay.
Is there anything else?
Hasbro and Legendary Entertainment has announced a shared Magic the Universe that will include both movies and TV shows.
Yes. So Hasbro has announced that there is a Magic the Gathering TV show and movie universe.
Yeah, I doubt it because we were told that we were going to get a Magic Netflix show back in 2016, 2017, and it was going to be done by the Russo brothers.
Yes.
Everyone was excited. And then we just get radio silence for years. And then, like, yeah, we're dropping the projects. Like,
yeah, no doubt.
obviously.
Yeah, and obviously.
I honestly, that's the same way I feel for the Warhammer movie with Henry Cavill.
TV show.
I don't think that show is coming out. I don't think it's getting made. I don't think it's going to get made.
Their stocks say otherwise because I follow the Games Workshop, like what their annually quote is and like how good the company's doing it. Is it reflecting like their decisions and what they're promoting and doing this? It's high. It's in the black, and it looks like the show is going through. Like there have been more things subtly coming out because I look for that news constantly in the Warhammer community on YouTube.
Yeah.
And there's one guy. They come out as rumors, always as rumors. Commander Valkath, I think his name is.
Yes.
And sure enough, a few months later, boom! It's always spot on, and it's true. There is always truth to the things he mentions.
For Magic the Gathering, I'm hoping that it is if it's going to be a shared universe and everything else, I'm hoping that it's animated stuff.
Yeah.
I hope they make everything animated because you can see the difference and it's really easy to see from the live action Dungeons and Dragons movie compared to something like Vox Machina.
Yeah.
You can see where it was, you were able to do a lot more in animation than you were able to do in just live action.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I really enjoyed the D&D movie. I thought it was fun.
It was awesome.
I loved that movie. It was very funny.
Pleasantly surprised with that.
They used a lot of things that, that happen in Dungeons and Dragons. But if you've ever seen Vox Machina and you've ever kind of like gone through it, that has a deeper core to it. You enjoy the characters a lot more. And it doesn't, it's not even the fact that like it's a long running game or it's a voice actors or anything like that. The storytelling is just so much better.
Yeah.
And the effects are so much better and you can dive further into it. And there's just so much more you can do with animation.
They had a budget too for some of the animation scenes and like episodes.
Yeah.
The budget is there. Amazon's like, here's some money. Run with it.
Dude, Amazon gave them stupid money.
No, it wasn't Amazon. It was a Kickstarter. Yes, they had like over $700,000
in 5 minutes.
Wild.
Yeah, no, it was so funny. So I don't think you ever, because you weren't really into Vox Machina.
No.
So it was super funny because they went on a live stream to like post like, hey, we're doing a Kickstarter. Yeah. We're really hoping everybody signs up and everything like that. Our goal is $750,000 in order to make this show.
Yeah.
And then right as they went online and it went forward, within 5 minutes they hit their goal.
Yeah.
And like you see all of them stop because they're not looking at the goals. And they're all talking and going like, well, this is our plan and this is everything else. And the producer waves and then you see
Matt Mercer.
You see Matt Mercer look over and he goes, what? We did what? And then he goes, apparently we hit 750,000 and it's climbing.
Yeah.
And then you see all of them just like start looking at each other.
Like, this is happening.
And then they all just start bursting into laughter of, I can't believe this is happening. Yeah. All right, I guess we're making this thing.
Well, Critical Role has been around for years.
Yes.
You know? And
I think they're done already.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think this has the biggest D&D following. And
they're doing other... They're starting up a third campaign.
But also a big... Also, kind of like cultural impact in the D&D community as well too. You know, half the time I get people being like, "Oh yeah, I watched Critical Role and I wanted to get into D&D and stuff like that."
Honestly, Critical Role really did. It did reinvigorate the D&D format. It really did, because without that, you don't get Dimension 20. You
No.
don't get you don't get like other streamers streaming their D&D content.
Yeah.
You know what? Wizards of the Coast recently made a statement to YouTubers who solely make, and this is where I have a gripe with Wizards of the Coast right now, is the fact that they're telling very prominent people whose channels are solely creating D&D content, or like Mr. DM's like how to be a DM, to do these things and stuff. Wizards of the Coast is saying stop doing it. Stop doing it because it's a failing ship. There is a scandal in the development right now that literally came out 2 days ago because there's this Scottish YouTuber who covers like D&D and stuff like that. I forget, but it's just going so deep into like, why is Wizards of the Coast telling these content creators stop making Dungeons and Dragons YouTube content? This is coming from YouTube telling the creators from Hasbro, like, why are you telling content creators to stop making this content without giving them an actual reason why? What's that about? That sounds weird, especially because it's YouTube.
I think that is a weird thing. I don't know why Wizards of the Coast would do that.
There's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense.
Homebrews are kind of like, homebrews are for, especially for D&D, is kind of like that's its bread and butter. Like everything that Wizards of the Coast has made is it's decent, it's good. Yeah. But I feel like the homebrews are so much more fun.
Yeah, totally.
Everything else. I was telling you earlier, I finally got back into D&D. I got back into D&D this week. Actually, that was the thing I did this week.
I got D&D tomorrow.
Huh?
I got D&D tomorrow. I'm excited. I'm like,
I was so excited because in my D&D session I forgot where we were because we hadn't played in 2 years, and my DM then went, "Hey man, do you remember where we were?" And I go, "No," and he goes, "You were right about to do a martial arts tournament because my character's a monk," and I was like, "This is gonna be awesome."
I'm a monk too.
Yeah, but it was so funny because I go, "Wait, hold on, what level would you say a lot of these people are?" And he go, because I'm level 16 in our story.
Dang.
And then I go, what level would you say these people are? And he goes, a vast majority of them are probably like level 10 to 8. And I'm like, oh my God, am I walking into this like Vegeta or Goku in the middle of the martial arts tournament? And he goes, yes.
Yes. For the sake of the awesome and pureness of that story, yes.
Yeah, he goes, absolutely. And I go, please tell me that there is like a thing, like a test in order to get into the tournament. And he goes,
strength test?
He goes, there's a strength test. There's a speed test. He goes, there's also a magic test. And I'm like, this is going to be awesome. So I did the strength test and I rolled, and he was like, all right, let's see how well you do. And I rolled, I got a nat 20 on the strength test. And he goes, how do you want to do it, man? And I go, remember when Vegeta just destroyed it? I want to do that. Yeah. And just walk up, but I want to do the...
Oh, you want to do the 18 and Piccolo style one?
But I want to do the 18, but it just explodes. And he goes, you do it. That's what happens. Everybody around you's like, look at this guy. He's not going to boom and just go, what in the world happened? Yeah. Oh, dude, it was so great.
If I was in that tournament, I would leave.
It was
I would
so
leave. No. I see someone destroy the strength test machine. No.
It was so funny because in the first match, my DM was like, I don't know how you started with what should have been your finishing move. And I go, why? And he goes, because that would have been hilarious if you would have won the tournament like that. Because the idea was that I have step of the wind, so I can double my speed and stuff like that. This is another tangent. Just really quick.
Hasbro's, D&D.
Anyway, but hold on, really quick, because it was actually really funny. He goes, okay, so what do you want to do? And I go, oh, cool. I want to do a key point, step of the wind. I can double my speed. I go, how far away from me and the character are you? And he goes, you're 40 feet. I go, I got 55 speed. And he goes, sure. Just gunning it towards him, dude. He goes, what do you want to do? And I have 4 attacks. So I go, all right, cool. He goes, all right, roll 1, and then we'll count that as your thing. I ended up rolling a nat 20, and he goes, what do you want to do, man? How do you want to do this? And I go, I want to just vanish in front of his eyes, appear behind him, because he's like kind of like a rock. He's like doing like earth, like, oh, like you can't do anything. I want to just knock his knees out, just boom, boom, hit both his knees so that way they crumble and his ass sticks out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just want to, with my final hit, just boom with my big thumb and just boom right in the butthole. He's like, he goes,
It happens.
he goes,
You do it.
Yeah.
and he's like, oh, well, you have one more attack. What do you want? And I go, right when I do that one, and he's worried about it, I want to just donkey punch him right in the back of the head.
God.
Wow, just add salt to the wound. Yeah.
And he's just like, well, you do it.
successfully stick your thumb up his butt.
He's like,
And
well,
then
you do
yeah,
it. And I'm like,
donkey-
oh, I would like,
donkey punch him.
so I landed those hits. And he goes, yes, you landed the hits, Nick. You absolutely landed the hits.
I feel bad for your DM.
And then he goes, why? What else would you like to do? And I go, well, I would like to use a key point to also do stunning strike. So he's stunned and he can't move. And he just goes, he's stunned. He's super stunned. Yeah, he's super stunned.
Yeah,
What would you?
He's done,
Yeah.
Nick. All right.
What else would you like to do? And he goes, you basically get another turn. I go, well, is he on the floor? And he goes, yeah. He goes, what would you like to do? And I go, well, I'm a giant elephant. So I just put my knees in the back of in his back because he's on the floor. And I just want to just donkey punch on top of him. And he goes, Nick, he's out. He's done. He's done. I'm going to call the fight. I'm calling the fight, man.
Yeah.
He's not getting up.
Mhm.
He's not getting up. And I'm like,
He's dead.
he's dead. And I go,
He's dead.
so did I win? And he goes, yes, you won.
Yes, he won.
Yes. And then he goes, how do you walk out of the ring? And I did the Roman Reigns acknowledge me.
Yeah.
He goes, everyone in the stadium is booing you. that is what's happening because you won with the most unhonorable way possible by shoving your thumb up this dude's butt.
Yep.
And I go, I'll take that. I'll accept
I'll
that.
take that. Yeah.
I'll accept it.
It's
And
a win.
every
Win's a
round
win.
every round I won, I just kept doing the Roman Reigns. And by the end of it, when I won the championship, I go, is everybody doing it? And he goes, everybody's doing it. And I'm like, oh yeah, they acknowledge me. I'm so
That's
glad
funny.
you introduced me. I'm so glad you introduced this to me. Is there anything else?
No, that is end of comic strips.
That is the end of comic strips. Awesome.
Hour
Tackling.
in.
No, that works. We had
Yeah.
half an hour to talk about everything else. So there was a lot of stuff that came out this week. I think the let's just get into Invincible really quick.
Yeah.
Only 3 episodes.
3 episodes right now.
3 episodes came out. Sean, you didn't get a chance to watch
No,
it.
my Wi-Fi was being dumb.
You have Spectrum.
Stupid
Yeah.
Spectrum.
I've
I hate
watched
you.
2 episodes, but pretty good.
Do you mind if we talk about it, like spoiler and everything like that? Like,
No.
it's only the first 3 episodes.
Go for it.
It's interesting because as of right now, the very beginning of the season is starting out with Mark in his training montage.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you have, I think it's 6 months?
Yeah.
It's been like 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
So it's been 6 months, and Mark has been training non-stop.
Yep.
And they were like, his speed has gone up by 70%. His strength has gone up by 80%. Basically he is
He's leveled up.
Yeah, he's leveled up. And then they're even talking about it, and they go, okay, could Mark beat the Viltrumite that came, the woman that didn't do that like just annihilated everybody? And they go, theoretically, with the way that he's grown, he could defeat her. He could beat her. But she was talking to Mark like there's something bigger that's coming. And I'm super excited about that.
Me too.
Because I know who's coming, and I'm like, oh my god, it's gonna be such a good
They've
fight.
only shown him like in 2 frames of the whole show so far.
You can pull him up.
Yeah.
You pull him up. He's I forget his Draxus or something like that. It's like Commander Draxus or something.
Who was the old man talking to Seth Rogen's character?
The old man talking to Seth
Oh,
Rogen's
the
character.
former
He is
Viltrumite.
he's a
The voice
Viltrumite.
of,
Yes.
Optimus
Optimus.
Prime.
Yeah. Oh, he's a former Viltrumite that left and then formed a global defense force.
Okay, so he's not gonna be a villain later.
He is.
I feel like he might.
He could. I mean,
I felt iffy with him.
Yeah. He's a Viltrumite that basically made a force to fight the Viltrumites. As of right now, Mark is officially the strongest hero on the planet. It does a really great job in kind of describing that and showing it off. Not only that, but also Mark is dealing with what happened after his fight and killing a person. Like he's dealing with that
Edie.
situation. Not only that, but also he's dealing with when he went to that alternate dimension, and then the past Adam Eve told him, like, you need to basically, like, tell me you love me, or leave me alone. Like, you need to, like, make a decision. And so he's dealing with whether or not he should tell Eve. You have the Guardians of the
Conquest. That's
Conquest. There it is.
Conquest.
Yeah, he. I don't know if you can get like a bigger picture.
Yeah,
of him.
I just needed to find out his name.
He's just a brick house.
Yeah.
Just a man.
He's bald, huh?
Bald
yeah.
with a mustache.
Yeah.
He's shown up in a couple
Got
of frames.
a great mustache.
Yeah, it's a solid mustache. I'm super excited because that's a great fight in the comics.
It's just a menace.
Yeah.
Hey,
It
went straight to
copyright.
YouTube,
Hey.
Don't worry, we didn't go over 10
Yeah,
seconds.
we didn't go over 10 seconds.
Yeah, so
But-
this is
Yeah.
So that's gonna be an awesome fight. I'm loving the new suit. He got the blue and the black. It looks great. Oliver has gotten his powers, and they're dealing with it. And right now they're dealing with Cecil.
Yeah, Cecil is not the main villain, but he is the obstacle that Mark is dealing with in the
So
season.
and it's interesting because
Yeah.
right now Mark is dealing with Cecil because he finds out what Cecil has been up to. He finds out that the Ultramen are still around. He finds out that Nighthawk, or what's his name?
Darkwing.
Darkwing, his sidekick that murdered
He's
a bunch
still
of
alive.
people. He's still alive, and not only that, but also he's a hero, and he's like a hero for Cecil and stuff. And basically Mark is, I'm done.
They do this great way of showing Cecil's backstory in episode 2. And the way that Cecil starts when he works for the agency that he's in control of now, he's very much like Mark.
Is he
in the
handsome
beginning.
in the
Yeah,
face?
he
Or
is-
is he like all...
No, he's a good looking man.
weird?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they do this really good parallel of showing of a young Cecil and his ideologies in the beginning of the episode, and then also the turning point of when he realized, okay, I have to worry about the greater good than being a good person
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
stuff. And there's a great line that someone tells him. He goes, "You can either be the good guy or you can be the guy that saves the world."
Yeah.
That's
Which
what
one
he
are
tells
You
him.
got to have that moral ambiguity there.
Yeah, not only that, but also I love it too because it shows him as like his first day as being director, and that's the day Nolan lands on Earth.
Oh.
Yeah.
And they don't, he introduces himself, and Nolan introduces himself. They go through this whole thing because he kills a monster.
Yeah, like nothing.
And
Yeah.
like it's nothing. And he then goes, he basically is talking to Nolan, and he even talks about it in the very first meeting. I know he's lying. He's telling me about this, like this galactic, the Viltrumites are here to save our planet, and he was, here to like save all of us and to help everything else. And he goes, nothing comes for free. He goes, that's a gift horse if I've ever heard it. And they were like, he goes, we need to start looking for plans to deal with him. And I don't know what he's about, but I'll allow him to help. But we are going to start formulating plans to take care of him.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because I do want to kind of see where that shifts. Because in the very first season, he's very dependent on Nolan.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Like where he's proven, I'm here to save
Yeah.
the planet and everything else. So you have all that. Episode 3 is very interesting.
Or is it? Okay.
Because episode 3 is dealing with Oliver murdering the Mahler twins.
Okay.
So the Mahler twins are attacking a nuclear silo, and Oliver,
Which is funny. The Mahler twins are voiced by Zolo from
Yes.
Miguel from Cobra Kai.
yeah,
Yeah.
But-
and then also Duplicate's brother
yes,
is voiced by Sam Liu from
Simon Liu?
Simon Liu from
Yeah,
Shang-Chi.
from Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
they're getting bigger. Like
yeah.
more and more people are jumping on board. 'Cause
Dang.
It's fun.
They love the show. They're having a good time. But you have Oliver who jumps in, and he goes to go help Mark. He's in his new suit. Mark is, he's trying not to kill the Maulers. He goes to go deal with the nuke missile. Oliver stays, and he's getting beaten by the Maulers. And Oliver just goes and he just punches one of the Maulers and breaks his jaw.
Yeah.
And then they hit him against the wall, and they were like, we don't normally kill kids. but for you, I'll make it. And he's like going like this, and Oliver just goes straight through his chest. And he's just covered in blood. And you just see the Mauler fall forward.
Yeah.
And then the Mauler with the broken jaw is like, you're not supposed to. And he goes, you guys are so weak. I should just deal with you now. And then you can see one of the other Maulers. He's like, I give up. You're a hero. You're supposed to let me go. And he goes, not today. And just uppercuts his head off. And just kills the Mauler. But the Guardians of the Globe are on the floor, all
Watching
aware
this,
of what's going on, but they're unable to take action.
They can't take him on. Yeah.
And they're realizing this kid could be as a child stronger than all of us.
How old?
Oh, he's like 10. Yeah.
He's like 10 years old, and he's dealing with the Maulers.
Well, his body is growing.
He's growing faster and faster and faster. And they're saying that. So they were saying that like he's gonna keep growing, and then once he hits puberty, he'll slow down and he'll age normally. Not only that, but also Mark goes to go deal with Cecil. So before in episode 2, he goes to go deal with Cecil, and he finds out that Cecil put a bomb in his brain. Well, not necessarily a bomb.
It's not a bomb.
It's a page from Waller's book.
It's an audio. It's like
an implant. Yeah.
It's an audio implant because he realized that that took you out when you were fighting the crab. So I put this in as in case I needed to deal with you. And he then you then see Cecil, and he keeps pushing the button over and over again to subdue Mark because Mark is getting in his face. And Mark is just destroying Ultraman. He's just destroying him, and it's a great scene. I love that scene where they're in the White Room, and then he's like, "Why are we in the White Room? Why are you here?" And he's like, "What are you trying to hide? What are you trying to protect?" And he's like, "We're in here to protect me, Mark." And you just see Ultraman walking in from the White Room, like from the outer space that you can't see. Mark just annihilates all of them. And then he turns off the White Room, and you just see an army of Ultramen all around him. And Mark just starts going through them, and that's when he turns the button on. He then goes to the Guardians of the Globe, and he's like, "You guys got to help me. Cecil's trying to kill me." And he goes, "I'm not trying to kill you," but he keeps pushing the button, and Ultramen are just beating on Mark. So the Guardians of the Globe have to jump in, and that divides the Guardians.
Yeah,
because you have half the Guardians going, what Cecil did is wrong. He put an implant in Mark's head in case he had to deal with him. Obviously, Mark is in the right. You then have the Eternal and all of them going, no, Cecil is in the right because Mark is a force that we can't stop. So it's two ideologies that were in the second episode that we're already dealing with. And now those members of the Guardians of the Globe, they go back to kind of the teen team headquarters. And they're going to make a new team, and then the Guardians of the Globe are now smaller. And so it's a very interesting kind of like dichotomy that we're dealing with. Is what Cecil doing right, or do we just try to save the planet and do the right?
Why did he say we're here to protect me?
Oh, because Mark is getting angrier and angrier and angrier,
and Cecil believes that he could just flip a switch, just like Nolan did. Yeah,
he's scared that he's going to turn into his dad.
Yeah,
pussy.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. So in the show, what I liked was in the beginning of episode 2 in this new season, was they showed that young Cecil was in was doing a mission where he was infiltrating
similar situation.
Yeah, where he was infiltrating these two villains, and they were going to release a acid gas in the world. He stopped him from doing it, but then they were being surrounded by cops. But then they basically took like a murder suicide thing. They were just like, well, this is what we plan to do. This is what we need to do and stuff. So they turned on the machine that. Then this acid gas is coming at them, and you see it too. They do a really good animation of like the gas eating their skin and clothes, but once it hits their stomachs, there's like blood just like going on the floor. They did this nice little detail I liked, where the character was standing in its own blood and his feet slipped for a second, and I was like, oh. I don't know why I like that so much.
That's wild.
Yeah,
It's a wild,
it was very eerie too because they're standing there embracing their own deaths, and then it's just like, oh, hold on, okay, and it's just like, just the skin's being ripped off.
It's the consciousness, and Cecil goes to teleport it away.
Yeah,
and when he teleports it away, his entire body burns, and that's how we get the scar. Because they then said they graft new skin onto him, and they go, well, they missed a spot because you have the. He goes, that's the last of my original skin. And I told them not to graft anything on it because I want to remember my mistake.
It was crazy too when he was holding back the cabinet that had like the acid coming out. It was going like from his waist up, and then his arm was falling off, and then his face was like basically going like this when he leaned down. That was crazy.
Yeah,
I was
it's gruesome.
Yeah,
it's a gruesome scene, but they're doing a great job on giving you both points of view of is Cecil right or is Mark right?
Yeah,
and it's a great way of kind of doing this. You also have Nolan in his prison.
Yeah.
With
Alan the Alien.
Alan the Alien.
Yeah.
And they're both in prison, but also they're experimenting on Alan.
Yeah.
So like he's going like, I don't know why you just don't break out. He goes, they're going to experiment on you. Like they're gonna laser you in half and try to figure out why you're so strong. And even Alan goes like, they would need a giant laser, and then like you just see him strapped and you see the giant laser, and he's like, hey, can we talk about this? Like,
it's so great. And Seth Rogen's voice is just so good.
Especially with Seth Rogen's voice. And then
but it makes sense too. I mean, in the ways that they keep experimenting on him, he's just going to become stronger.
Exactly. So he just gets
at
stronger.
Some point, he's going to get super strong that he can just break out of the prison.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Nolan's idea is.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you to get strong enough to just take everybody out. Yeah. And it's great. So far, I'm super excited about how the season's going to go. I'm really scared about. I know about the death that's going to happen this season. There's a major character that dies this season. I'm really interested to see how they do it.
Yeah, same.
And if they do it justice, because that's going to be
a changing point. It's a turning point.
Because there's a couple of characters that have a lot of like changing in like the way they're behaving.
Yes.
Like they're growing and they're becoming better.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's interesting. And everything else. So I'm interested to see how they portray that in the show, whether they do it better than the comic book or whether or not they kind of, so far they've been really great at, improving on what the comic already did.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for
I think by the end of this season, we might get the big 3 that's supposed to come out, along with Conquest, the other 2 as well too. By the end of that's how this season's going to end, I feel like.
Yes. Because I think Mark loses the first fight with Conquest, doesn't he?
Yes, oh definitely.
He loses
he gets
destroyed by Conquest.
To the point where he's like almost no life in him and stuff.
Yeah. And then not only the messed up one too is Oliver is his suit is Omni Boy. So he's Omni Kid or Omni I
think he's Omni Boy. Yeah.
And he has
the
Nolan's
O.
O. And he was like, yeah, it's like Dad. It's like Dad's. Like, isn't this awesome? And he's like, no, that is like wearing a swastika. Like that is like, you don't know how much destruction and like death that Dad is responsible for. When people see that symbol, they're gonna remember that. And they were like, no. But Oliver's mentality for it is interesting too, because he goes, no, because I'm gonna be saving people with it. So they're gonna see how good Dad is through me and how I'm saving people. But I'm just interested to see how, because I know Oliver's path
deviates.
I want to see how they grow this.
Yeah.
And I'm interested also in in Eve and Mark's relationship.
So they touched onto that in the first 2 episodes that I saw, that they acknowledge each other's feelings and stuff, but it takes a turn because Mark obviously words it terribly when he tells Eve and stuff like that.
Do you mind me telling me what happens in episode 3, or you want to watch it?
No, because at the end of episode 2, they've solidified it, didn't they? Or they agreed. I know that, but did it take a turn in episode 3?
No. I forgot that at the end of episode 2 they solidified. Basically in episode 3, it's a very healthy relationship.
Yeah, I think because they're both superheroes, so they can understand one needs to go or they both need to do something and stuff like that.
Mark is late to their first date because he's dealing with Oliver and the whole situation. Yeah. and he shows up and he's trying to apologize to Eve.
But he's so used to doing that.
Yeah, and the first thing he goes is, I know this is a big deal. I'm so sorry I'm late. You know, I feel terrible. And she's like, Mark, I get it. Like, I understand I saw it on the news.
Yeah.
I saw what you were dealing with. That was more important. They were shooting a nuke.
I'm super happy we finally get to see Mark and Eve together now.
They also introduced Kyle.
Oh.
Because Eve ends up bumping into Amber.
Oh. Interesting.
And Amber tells her, I've met this new guy. His name is Kyle. So I'm very interested to see.
If you guys read the comics, you know what we mean. That's why, like,
because that's an interesting thing that
dynamic
happens.
We'll talk more about it when the season
when it happens.
ends.
I'll tell you after.
Yeah. No, don't tell me.
Don't tell you?
Yeah.
Okay,
No.
yeah, it's good.
Really quick, we should just talk about this last then, because we're reaching our bit of our point right now. Fantastic Four First Steps trailer.
First Steps
teaser trailer, mind you.
The First Steps teaser trailer finally revealed. I like that it came out on February 4th. I thought that was a nice touch.
That was cool.
The entire unveilment was really cool because it felt like a 1960s like missile, like a shuttle launch. So that was really cool.
They released it early. I woke up at 5 a.m. because I just have to wake up sometimes. I have to go to the bathroom, and I was just on my phone, and I was like, then like, oh, Fantastic Four teaser trailer dropped like 22 minutes ago. And I'm like, what?
It was early. It was super early.
And so I watched it. I shared it in the chat, and I was like, oh my god, this is really good. Thing looks legit.
I have you seen people's cuts
Oh
already?
Yeah, it's
they're so funny.
Of cutting the thing in the bear. It's hilarious.
It's gonna be done.
Yeah,
I thought.
It's gonna be done. When I saw this scene, I'm like,
I
this is
love
the bear.
it's too close.
I love that they did that whole like kitchen scene, you know, with him. It's like, oh right. He's like, I'm gonna put a couple cloves of garlic in it. Not that it didn't taste bad, it just needs a little zip. Right? Like, I was like, that is such a Chicago thing to do. Like,
I know. I love it too because in the cuts that they did they put Herbie as what was it?
What Lip.
As Jeremy Allen White's character.
As Jeremy Allen White's character. And he's like, oh, not that it's bad, but just because it needs a little zip. And he just goes, what the F are you talking about? He's just like,
why are you effing with me, cousin?
Why are you effing with me? Why are you effing with me? So great.
It's so great. But for the actual, like, we got to see them in their suits.
Yes.
Yeah. We got to see how Johnny's Flame On looks. It looks great.
It looks cool.
It looks very good. I love seeing Ben Grimm.
Some people were, you know what's funny? You can tell that people don't understand how comic book designs work because people were criticizing the design of the Thing.
The design was released a long time ago. Like, we knew what he was going to look like. Why act surprised now?
People didn't like it. The thing I've seen the most is I don't like that the Thing's eyes are so small.
But that's how it is.
And I was like, literally look at any comic book and go like his eyes are like little like like
because
little
they're still human eyes size
surrounded by rock.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense that his eyes just become super big in real life, you know?
Yeah, it makes total sense. I'm super I want to see it because you've seen him kind of happy.
Yeah,
I do want to see a little bit of a darker grim.
People were saying that it looks like a more lighter tone on the Thing.
Yeah,
I don't mind that. Some people were saying that they wanted to alter his voice a bit. You know,
that was my only gripe that I had with the Thing. He sounds too much like himself. Like the actor sounds like himself.
I think,
and I'm like,
So I think what it is that in this version that Marvel wants to do with the Thing, I think they're gonna try and make him more like a gentle giant kind of thing, because they noticed that in like, I guess, like focus groups or maybe like general audiences take to that, you know, when you have a monster looking person,
another Groot.
Yeah,
so it is another Groot.
Yeah,
I you know what? But also when you have such a great actor like I forget his name. I forget his name, but he's such a great actor, and I feel like kind of hiding him under a voice modulator or making him do a voice, it does kind of hinder on his performance. Because even the dude who did the Thing in the 2005 Fantastic Four,
it's clobbering time.
You don't get a very great performance from him. because if you've ever seen that actor in like The Shield or anything like that, he's a really good actor.
He is.
And I feel like with the makeup and everything else, you didn't get the full performance.
I think because it's latex, a suit, and probably how it's stuck to
Does
his,
just talk like that.
he couldn't.
Yeah, and it made him sound slow.
Yes.
Like it made him sound like he almost sounded like
What's going on?
he almost sounded like Rocky Balboa.
Yeah.
And it's not a great look. I like this one. I love the sounds that they're using for it. Like I love the like when he's clapping and you can hear the rocks and everything else. I love when he puts his finger in and then you
hear the grinding.
The grinding of as he's like putting it in his mouth, and you see like the little tongue that's in his mouth.
Another critique, I think, because I'm looking at the cast, and I was like, we talked about Johnny Storm showing off his powers. They showed a little bit of Sue. Obviously, they showed the thing. The one thing I remember people were saying that, like, oh, they didn't show Pedro Pascal using his powers. And I'm thinking, well, it's probably not done yet. That's the thing. The VFX for that?
It could.
Maybe.
It could be.
Yeah.
I also am thinking that because it's a teaser, they don't want to blow their wad.
Yeah.
Like keep a couple of things.
We do know he's working on the multiverse bridge that he's done in the comics.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. There was that pointed out, and there was two other things on the chalkboard.
Yeah.
People are like making a big old buzz about.
Yeah, they also had the subverse inside on the map. So what was it? So because that was talked about that the Mole Man was going to be like not their big villain, but he was going to be a villain. They said that a couple of the other actors too, that we didn't really know who they were going to be. The speculation is that there's going to be like kind of like a montage of showing how the Fantastic Four got to prominence.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it's going to be kind of like, not a flash cut, but it's going to be like, boom, there's the villain, boom, boom, boom. And it's going to be like, cool, this is how they got to where they are.
That's cool. Just like newspaper article, kind of what the Watchmen did,
That, or even The Incredibles. Because
Yeah.
was it the director said that he was taking some inspiration from The Incredibles.
Awesome.
That he loves that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, how great would it have been if Brad Bird directed Fantastic Four?
Oh man, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, that would have been great.
I love the suits. I think the suits look of the time. They're they're almost perfect.
They look legit.
I thought it was funny.
Looks
too.
like felt. I kind of want to touch their suits. They look very cozy. I want them in pajamas.
So people were talking about it, and I thought it was interesting. So they are. People figured out what they were. They're modified space suits.
Yeah.
But it's the underlining that you wear to put on the actual suit.
Yeah.
Because they got their powers
through wearing the suits.
The radiation.
So
and stuff
they're using the same idea that they used
Cosmic
in
rays.
the 2005 version when they get hit by the gamma wave, and then the suits that they were wearing adapted to them so they could use them as super suits. So I do like that because what they were noticing is they have like little like markings on them. It's where the actual suit connects in.
Oh.
And the actual spacesuits and stuff like that, that's where it connected in. It's like the vacuum openings. I thought that was a cool little like touch and everything else. I love that. I love the way they look. I love the family aspect.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see because the speculation is that Sue is pregnant.
She's pregnant, yeah. She's pretty big if she is.
Which makes sense why they're so adamant about being a family.
Yes,
I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting.
I'm super interested about that. Not only that, but also I'm really excited to see how Galactus fits in this because they're saying that they're doing a spaceship and they're doing everything else. That people are saying that the way that this could work, of they're in a different universe, they're doing everything like that, is they fail.
Yes,
and Galactus wins. Like there's nothing we can do against Galactus. And the only way that Reed can think to save his family is to use the Universal Bridge, and that's how we end the movie.
That's smart. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. Of him using that Universal Bridge, they shoot through it, and then he lands in the MCU.
Yeah.
I hope they do.
They kind of
go that route.
It kind of ends in a like Lost in Space kind of vibe. It's like we don't know where this goes, but we can't stay here.
Yeah, we're done. Like the planet and the planet's destroyed because you can see.
They return in
Secret
Wars.
Well, because you can see in some of the scenes, you see like meteors coming down and destroying the city. You can see all these other things. So that would be very interesting. Of like, it's a bad ending, like especially with this like cool vibe, like this like upbeat vibe.
Yeah.
And the movie ends in a downer like that.
It ends in a somber note.
Like a somber note of the fantastic, because especially seeing as they're the world's heroes. And that would be very interesting to go like, these are the world's heroes, the greatest, you know, blah, 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 blah. And they failed. Galactus won and he ate the world. Because also, how do you defeat Galactus?
Right? You don't show that right away either.
You got Doom. Is Doom gonna be in this? Do we know if he's been confirmed?
So far, there hasn't been any sign
That could
of
be.
Doom.
They could wait. That that could be a surprise cameo in the movie.
That could be the surprise cameo.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Victor. End credits.
It's like Robert Downey Jr. just like coming up. Yeah.
Once again, I feel like the fact that they showed Robert Downey Jr. as Doom is like the craziest thing in the world. Because I feel if you would have just had Doom and he's in the mask and you don't see who he is, that is so much more impactful than going like, oh yeah, it's Robert Downey Jr. Like it doesn't land as hard, and then when you see him on camera, it's not gonna. It's just gonna be like
the reveal.
The shock is gone.
The shock is gone.
Because the story has to tell it in a reveal. That's the thing.
And that's the thing though, is like everybody else, and that's kind of like the whole idea of you being ahead of the story, of you going like, can't wait till he takes the mask off.
Oh look, it's RDJ.
It's RDJ.
Yeah.
Oh look,
Okay.
That's an interesting makeup job they did on RDJ.
They could have done it in this one where maybe at some point we see Robert Downey Jr. come on screen greeting them, and then reveals maybe at the end of the movie or something that he is Victor Von Doom.
You know what actually would have been interesting is if RDJ was in this
but not credited as
it's a variant of not so it's the same body, but instead of being Tony Stark and having like everything else, you have Von Doom. You have like the Doom Corporation or whatever it is.
I think that's what they're going with. At least RDJ as Doom. He's a variant of Doom.
I think he's a variant of Doom,
but not Doom.
Yeah, he's not Doom.
Doom.
He's not.
Dum.
I did
You need
see,
gum gum?
You know what? And I did see, because people have suggested that we may get an after credit scene of the Council of Reeds.
Oh, at the end of this one?
Yes, because
that'd be cool.
That would be, yeah.
The actor who played Reed in the 2005 messed up.
Oh no!
And posted a picture at the rap party.
Oh.
He accidentally posted a picture of the rap party, and he took a picture with Pedro Pascal and Joseph Quinn.
Wait, the guy from Whiplash and from the other.
No, that's Miles Teller.
Miles Teller. But but that would be their introduction into the Council of Reeds. Basically, the after credit scene would be that Fantastic Four, that Reed, putting his hand out and going, "Welcome to the Council of Reeds."
That'd be interesting.
And everything else. That's the
I can
rumor.
see them doing that too.
That's the rumor and everything else, because when he did put out the photo, it was taken down shortly.
I hope they do a better reveal than what they did with the Council of Kangs. And it's just them cheering, and it's like.
Well, actually, speaking of which, they're in talk of bringing back Kang, bringing back.
That's a possibility.
Jonathan Majors, because all of his court cases and everything like that are done, and
dropped,
and everything was dropped, and they're going like, yeah, even though he hit her, he didn't go to jail for it.
Still bad.
Listen, just because he's a monster doesn't mean we can't make money, guys.
That's Hollywood, baby.
Yeah, and
learn from Warner Brothers, please.
Because and the hard part is that how exactly do we do this? Because the Council of Kangs is kind of important. To like the whole like Secret Wars and everything else. And I think they did kind of write themselves in a tricky thing of going. They did. How do we do this?
Yeah. And then I've been telling people, with this whole Doom now being inserted as the main villain after kind of giving up on Kang, there's going to be a weird transition in these movies coming out. I think we'll see it probably in Captain America: Brave New World next week, of like this original vibe that they had, and then just kind of go like, oh no, we got to go a different direction, because that was a plan for Kang.
Yes.
But now we got to go towards Doom. Yeah. So I'm thinking there's going to be that like awkward trajectory in the story or the vibes and stuff like that, where we'll have like, okay, they only did that because they gotta lead up to Doom, because they only have like 4 or 5 movies,
5 movies
before
really?
they have to do a Doom.
Because what do we have? We have Captain America: Brave New World, which comes out next week.
Then we got Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts is coming out in 2 months.
And then
In July, right?
yeah,
Is it July?
July.
Is it July?
Is it July? Hold on.
No, it's not.
What?
No.
Thunderbolts. When does Thunderbolts come out?
Let's see. I'm checking right now.
Because we have Thunderbolts, then we have because we have Brave New World, then we have Thunderbolts, then we have. Is it July?
No, May.
May.
May 20. Yeah, May 2nd.
What's the other properties that are coming out this year? I think that's it.
I think so too.
I think it's Fantastic Four,
Because
Thunderbolts,
because
they're going down
Daredevil
through-
comes out next month.
Yes.
Yeah, and then
You guys are watching it next week, right? The
Captain America.
Captain America.
Yeah, we're seeing it on Thursday.
What? Wait, what phase are they in right now?
Technically,
Hell if
this.
I know.
I mean, there's no.
There's no more phases at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, there's no
You
structure.
throw at the wall and see what sticks, and we try and make money.
You know what? And that's the rough thing though is that there is kind of no structure, and we did because they did really well in phase 1 and 2 of having like this is what we're doing, and then these are the movies
they,
that come out.
They had an end game.
Yeah,
Literally,
and
they had an end goal, like big bad, and go from there.
Now I feel like with Doomsday, they kind of do, but I don't think
So, Fantastic Four comes out in July.
yes, that's what I'm thinking
Yeah,
about. Because
yeah.
Fantastic Four is going up against Superman.
Yes.
What's that about Blade?
Oh, Blade is set to scheduled release in November, but
But
they're
they
still
haven't,
in
even,
anything.
they haven't started on principal photography.
And then comes Avengers Doomsday in May 1st,
Really?
2026.
So we have 3 movies, and then we have
Yeah.
Doomsday
Then we have to wait a whole year for that. And then Spider-Man's supposed to come out
in between.
those
Which
movies.
one? Spider-Verse or Spider-Man?
Spider-Man 4.
Yeah, Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland. Yeah.
That was what they were talking about because it's going to be Doomsday, Spider-Man 4. No, and then there's a Doctor Strange movie that's coming out in between that.
Oh yeah, no, that's set. Maybe part of this new whole thing. It's
how many timelines have we seen, like roadmaps, and then we don't end up getting half or even a quarter?
Because
of it?
what's his name? Cumberbatch. He messed up, and he said that he's not in Doomsday.
No, he's not. He's only gonna be in Secret Wars.
He said I'm only in Secret Wars and I'm not in Doomsday because in Doomsday, I'm dealing with. He basically said because I think he said he knew he messed up. And he was like, because they were like, "Oh, are you excited?"
He pulled a Tom.
Yeah, he's like, "Are you excited to to work with RDJ again,
right?
And be in Doomsday?" And he was like, "I'm not in Doomsday." He goes, "Oh no, I'm not gonna. I'm not scheduled for that because my character is in his own thing doing everything else." And they were like,
"That's supposed to come out after Doomsday."
Yeah, and they're like, "So you're not in Doomsday?" And he goes, I feel like I shouldn't have said that. And then they were like, yeah. And he goes, well, we're already here. Yeah. So I'm not going to be in Doomsday.
Yeah, he's already locked in Marvel Studios. Yeah.
He's like, I'm not going to be in Doomsday.
That's his first hiccup.
In fairness, that is his
Everybody
first
gets one.
Everyone gets one.
So what it sounds like is then we're going to have Doomsday, Spider-Man, Strange, and then we have Secret Wars.
Yes. These other ones that possibly might come out are Eternals 2, A-Force, The Uncanny X-Men, Shang-Chi, another Fantastic Four movie, another Black Panther movie. These are all movies that are possibly going to come out. These are not solidified or anything like that. Doctor Strange, and then a Dark Avengers movie and a Young Avengers movie. Those are possible movies that they're going to release during that time.
What do you think they're going to release Sunday? Because mind you, Super Bowl has already happened.
Sunday.
And we've already gotten Jurassic World. We already got the Fantastic Four teaser, which I imagine
maybe
is
new
just
TV
reshow.
spots.
Yeah, just a couple more footage.
A different one. Yeah.
I think if anything, we're gonna get a Superman.
We're definitely gonna get a Superman.
I think we get a full
Super Bowl trailer.
I think we get a full-on Superman trailer. With,
One Piece trailer for next year.
I can see a One Piece trailer.
I would hope. No.
I can
or
see
maybe
one.
I can see Netflix
One
doing
can
another
dream.
teaser.
Yeah, some Netflix movies, but I don't really know what else. Like, what else are we really gonna show off? Because you kind of already like blew your wad.
Yeah.
Like, what else are we really gonna show off? Like, what other movies? Because I'm not really waiting on anything else except for Superman. That what would be insane, and I would love it if James Gunn did it. Have a twofer. Because they're already done with principal photography for Peacemaker.
That's what I was just thinking that right now. I was like,
what about if we get a teaser for Peacemaker?
Yeah, or like a clip. Yeah.
or at least
Or
like a
just him-
spot.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
just
just
like
a
a
spot.
just a spot of
Maybe a new dance. That's it. Like, in the
Ooh.
intro.
I think
Yeah.
that would be kind of interesting. You know, the sky's the kind of limit on that one. So I'm interested to see what at this point we already got it.
Yeah.
we already know and everything like that. It's Wednesday, but I don't really think that. I would be very surprised if I was like, oh my god, can you guys believe that came out?
Yeah.
Well,
Marvel's kind of like, I don't know, it's a very spotty plan right now. At least outlook of what future movies are going to be.
Yeah.
It's very spotty, and it really these next movies coming out are really going to show.
how insane would it be if middle of the Super Bowl, Blade, like they show they show like Mahershala Ali.
Give me,
I,
please.
would you be back in? Are you in?
Maybe.
Are you in?
It depends on the trailer.
Let's see how you guys feel after Brave New World.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of reshoots for that movie. I'm kind of scared of this one coming out. I
see.
wanted to be good. I wanted to be good, but I'm scared of all those reshoots that they did.
I'm just glad
It's not the same movie anymore.
I'm just super glad that we're acknowledging Eternals. Like,
same.
True that.
I'm just really happy that we're acknowledging Eternals and that there's a Celestial on the planet.
I feel like also they're using it in the basis of the plot of the movie. It's not just like an Easter egg. It's not a mentioning in the background.
It's not a MacGuffin.
No, it's like, oh no,
here.
okay, it's here. We might as well use it.
And I do love the idea of they were like, oh,
we harvest something.
Adamantium.
We harvest something new.
Also,
metal.
it's the strongest metal in the world. How do you harvest that?
Right?
What cuts into it?
I don't think it's gonna
Itself?
work, Bob.
Like, but how do we get a piece
Right?
of adamantium to cut off the other adamantium?
Right?
Unless they do the same thing that they did in the other
get
things,
it
you just superheat it.
Yeah.
And then you melt it down into into bricks.
Yeah,
and then you just take
but
it.
how
Some
high
ingots.
of a temperature does adamantium need to be to
Wakandans
melt?
know. They know.
That's true.
They're the experts on
Okay,
it.
so now I know that we've gone over.
Yeah.
I want to know, what do you think the after credit scene is?
In
What's
Brave
the
New World?
Brave New World? What's the after credit scene?
No after credit scene.
You think it's just what was it? Captain America will return.
Probably.
Captain America will return.
Yeah.
What's your?
I
want to
say, because the next movie's Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts is the next movie. That's
and
why
I think they're gonna hint at something for Thunderbolts.
Yeah?
I think because originally they were gonna have Ross in part of the team as well too. They're gonna have Red Hulk.
Because that's the whole point of Thunderbolts. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be Ross's Avengers.
Yes, and I think they're gonna do something with that later because I feel like bringing in Red Hulk and then not using him in another movie, and just bringing him just for the sake of like, oh, it's Red Hulk, guys. Like, look, that's the marketing point. No, you have to be doing something with that character, or something. So I think it's gonna be a Thunderbolts little after credits tie-in.
In the continuity of the comics, is Ross normally the Red Hulk? Because
He's
I thought
always been,
Banner.
yeah.
I thought Banner was the Red Hulk.
No,
No,
Banner,
in the comic books, they did this whole thing when they first introduced it. It was like, who's the Red Hulk? Who becomes Red Hulk? And it was so funny because they finally revealed that it was General Ross that became, because they try to psych people out because General Ross still had a mustache, but when he becomes Hulk, he doesn't have a mustache.
and they were like, oh,
Falsy.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah.
yeah.
Superman's glasses.
I'm calling you right now. Mark Ruffalo.
I think Mark Ruffalo is going to be in the movie. I think he's going to have a short little snippet or
The only
cameo.
reason I think it's gonna be Mark Ruffalo, and it's gonna be a scene between Mark Ruffalo and Betsy Ross,
Oh, Betty Ross?
because she's in the movie. She was.
Oh, yeah, Liv Tyler?
Liv Tyler's in
Okay.
the movie.
Is she confirmed to be in it? Okay.
Because they've already had like scenes where you see Liv Tyler talking to Harrison Ford, and so they've already confirmed Liv Tyler's in the movie.
Okay.
So I think that you're not gonna have anything, and it's gonna end with Banner talking to her. It's gonna be like a scene of them communicating, and it's gonna be like, "I love you."
Do you think that's the only time we'll see Bruce in the movies and after credits, or do you think he's going to be in the movie?
Because if there's a Bruce in the movie, why wouldn't he be fighting Red Hulk?
Yeah, but that could be. Well, that's the thing too. That could be something that's not shown in the marketing.
Could be that like Mark Ruffalo's been in the movie the whole time.
Yeah.
The only problem with that is that would be one hell of a secret because Mark Ruffalo wasn't at the premiere. Mark Ruffalo isn't in the thing. You would imagine somebody in the marketing department going like, "Let me just show one scene of Hulk and Red Hulk fighting. Let me show that one clip of just two fists, a green and red fist clashing and making like a shockwave."
Okay.
I think that not only that, but also I think it also kind of undermines a Captain America movie for going like, we had to call the Hulk. Like, I know we're dealing with a Hulk, but we had to call a Hulk. Like, Captain America isn't really the hero in the story. He was defeated and we had to call a Hulk.
I wish they had a different villain instead of the Red Hulk for this one.
Well, I think Red Hulk is not a villain in
It's
here.
a secret society.
Yeah, it's more of like an obstacle Sam takes on in like maybe the second act.
And also, he said that his Captain America will never take the serum.
Yeah.
He said that he goes, I think it's way more interesting of a human, not a super soldier fighting with all these things, which also makes no sense of him fighting a Hulk
and not budging. Like he takes the hit and it's like,
as a super soldier, that kind of makes sense.
Moved a bit,
unless
or something.
Unless the suit's doing so much. That means
no.
That means because also when he's going supersonic and he lands and everything else, and then he was like, just wait for it, and then like the shock wave of like the supersonic hits him. I'm like, your legs would be butter. Like, you'd be Jello, right?
Yeah. Well, his suit that he has, isn't it created by vibranium? From Wakanda, because that's what it is, and Captain America: Winter Soldier.
I'd imagine so.
He gets a suit from Wakanda.
He's just been upgrading. He's got a bunch of which also kind of doesn't make sense. Of the I get the Wakandans making him one. Now this guy's got like 3 suits that are all vibranium.
Yeah,
and they just gave it to the American government to experiment on. Because Sam is actively working for the American government. That doesn't sound smart.
Plot holes.
Especially with like
Careful
the way
where
that
you
Shuri,
step, folks.
Well, especially at the end of Wakanda Forever, Shuri is we're closed off. My brother did this. I'm not doing that, and everything else. So it's a slippery slope, and everything else. But I do think that the after credit scene is going to be Mark Ruffalo.
Okay.
I think it's going to be Mark Ruffalo, and it's going to be a scene between him and Liv Tyler.
Okay. All right.
Because it doesn't do anything. It doesn't set anything up. But it's a thing that everybody wants.
Yeah.
And and it's kind of like, oh yeah, I wonder if he's going to be in Smart Hulk.
Oh, so now Marvel's listening to us and giving us what we want in an after credit scene?
Yeah, you got to wait all the way until the end of the movie. God, I hope it doesn't suck.
Right. What if it sucks?
Yeah, what if it sucks?
I'm curious if. Okay, so we do know that Marvel Rivals is doing a thing with ticket sales for this movie specifically.
Yes.
Now, you buy the ticket, you get the code. Now, if you get a refund, do movie production companies count, even though if there's a refund, do they go based off of tickets sold or how much money they've grossed? Because I feel like those are numbers that would either be inflated and Marvel say like, look at how many tickets we sold. Well, how much money did it make?
My thing is that for a Marvel movie, I don't feel you have a lot of people walking out. Because even for Eternals, not a lot of people walked out. You didn't have like this like mass exodus. People waited to the end to see, okay, where does this go? Because
they hadn't been treated that way yet in the timeline of Marvel. But now we've had so much repercussion, and the state of Marvel is completely different than when Eternals came out. People are more reluctant. People are more quick to demonize it at times.
My thing is that I feel like Marvel has this ability to keep butts in seats. It's entertaining enough, no matter how crazy the movie gets. It's entertaining enough to keep you in the seat, and for you to be at least enjoying the flashing lights. And then also people are interested in seeing what happens after the credits, no matter what. Like people are
solely for movies, or do you think that's also the same thing for TV shows in the within the Marvel umbrella?
What do you mean?
Like people will still like sit and watch.
People are gonna intake it.
Finish.
People are gonna finish it because that's what happened with She-Hulk. People finished it. People finished it
Yeah.
no matter what, even though they didn't like it, they finished it and they were hoping that it was going to get better.
The only one that I didn't finish was Echo.
I didn't even start it.
Don't.
I didn't start
I was
it. Didn't
10
start
minutes
it.
in, and Christy's like, "Why are you watching this?" I'm like, "You know
Yeah,
what?
the only thing-
I'm not going to do this to
I just
myself.
gotta-
That's like an unfinished show.
I will
Yeah.
smoke a carton of cigarettes, then watch Echo in one sitting."
I just got a synopsis so that way I knew what was going on
Yeah.
in Born Again. That was it.
I just watched like certain scenes that had like Kingpin and
Yeah.
and Daredevil in it, and that was it. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the show.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah.
Remember to catch us on our YouTube channel, our website, keepingupwiththenerds.com. Make sure to hit the like, subscribe button, leave a comment at the bottom. What do you guys think? How did the Super Bowl go for you guys? Did you guys like what you saw? Were you guys surprised by anything?
Did you win money? Did you lose money?
Bet on the Chiefs to win. Just bet on the Chiefs to
How far
win.
in debt are you? That was a crazy bet. I don't know why you did that.
Right.
Your family is homeless. No,
Oh, no.
but what was it? Make sure to find us on all of our social media. You can find us on Instagram, not TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and X.com. Make sure.
And coming soon to Red Note. No.
No, no.
We've already had this conversation.
Make
It's
sure.
like-
What was it? If you're an audio listener, make sure to head over to our audio platforms, our Spotify, our Apple Music, and our Podbean.
Our Chinese audience just got sad.
Yeah. What was it? Follow on there if you're just audio listeners. If you're just an audio listener, come over to the YouTube, subscribe. Make sure that you're seeing all the funny things that we're doing with our hands and images and everything like that. But yeah, let's go ahead and close out the show. This has been Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 234. My name is Nick Valero.
Sean.
Rene.
We'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye.